What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm covering what I believe to be the 5 best releases from Paris Corner this year, because they really stepped their game up in 2023 and they came out with some really good stuff. Clearly inspirations and interpretations of more popular fragrances, but what they put out, especially these 5, they killed it. I just got to say, these are incredible fragrances. I want to talk to you about them. Stay tuned. Before we dive into these 5, today's video is brought to you by the good folks over at Aroma Concepts. You can find all 5 of these fragrances from them in the links below with a discount code. All 5 of these fragrances actually did come from Aroma Concepts. They partner with the channel from time to time to bring some reviews on these more affordable Middle Eastern options for you guys. So obviously, all opinions here are my own as they naturally come to me. I say them. So let's talk about these 5. I think we're going to start with what I believe to be the best release from them of the year. This is Khair Pistachio from Paris Corner. This is supposed to be Kayali's Yum Pistachio Gelato, and you get the pistachio gelato ice cream, whatever you want to call it, smell. But you get a sweet rum. You get a bright, spicy cinnamon. It's not super warm, but it's kind of adds some pop to it, if you will. And then there's a strong minty tone from some geranium. There's some other white florals that kind of ground the scent to where it's not just too gourmand and dessert-like. But you have whipped cream and cotton candy to make this fluffy, airy sweetness. This is such a fun fragrance. If this was ranked, this would have been #1 because I do believe this to be not necessarily their best release of the year, but my favorite. This is hands down my favorite release of the year from them. And I've never smelled the original. I don't care to smell the original. I don't need to because I have this bottle, and when I'm in the mood for this scent profile, I'll roll with this because I find it to be just that good. Performance is well above average without being an obnoxious, monstrous beast, but I would definitely call it very strong. And it's worth checking out if you like these sweet, playful fragrances. And that's Khair Pistachio. We're sticking with the theme for sweet. This is their interpretation of Montal's Arabian's Tonka, which I have tried. I have a decant of. And it is pretty damn accurate. Now, not the exact same quality level, but it gets pretty close. This is Noir D'Arabie. This is sugary sweet oud, a little bit of patchouli. There's a few other things going on, slight fruity tone to it. But it's mainly this sugary sweet oud smell. Not the most natural oud, but this is some good stuff. I could see this being one of those, I don't want to say rare instances, but less likely type of fragrances to garner compliments, because anything can pull a compliment for you, but there's something really attractive about this scent profile. I think it's the sweetness, because the oud's not real funky here. There's more of a slight medicinal meets pencil shaving type of smell to the way this one comes across. This one, however, previous one I didn't say is I said it's not an obnoxious beast. This can be. If you spray this one heavy, this can be an obnoxious beast, because this one's really, really strong. So keep that in mind. Those of you who like to heavy spray the beast mode fragrances, well, here you go. Here's one of those obnoxiously loud beast mode fragrances, but at least it smells really good. Like I said, sugary sweet oud is Noir D'Arabie. The most simplistic way to put this one is sweet cream coffee. It's Eternal Coffee from Paris Corner. So this was close to midway point of the year when this one came out. There's a few others that came out with a similar bottle, so you could call it similar lines, I guess. They're same line, but this one in particular, caramel sweet cream coffee, because you get a thick caramel smell to it. There's a little bit of spice. I even believe there's a touch of hazelnut, if I remember correctly. It does kind of smell like it's in the air, but sweet cream coffee and caramel, you gotta like these thick, creamy, sweet fragrances. Definitely will remind you of a nice iced latte. Heavy on the sweetness, though. You got to keep that in mind if you like sweet fragrances. So far, we're 3 for 3 with sweet fragrances, which is definitely my cup of tea, as it's called. In this case, cup of coffee. Because I'm not a big coffee drinker, but boy, I love a good coffee fragrance. And this is one of the better coffee fragrances in my collection. As far as I know, it's an original scent from them. I don't know of another fragrance of this exact profile. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. But as far as I know, this is an original creation from them. And I think they did a fantastic job. Again, it goes back to if you like caramel and sweet cream coffee smells, it's definitely one of the better ones to come out possibly ever. Eternal Coffee. Now with this one, I've had people argue with me and try to contradict me in comments saying it smells nothing like it and so on. Yes, I have tried the original. That one can be obnoxiously potent. We're talking about Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade and Noir Darb Ombre in the Ambre range from Paris Corner. Definitely smells very similar. This is where I noticed they really started to step their game up with the quality of oils that they were choosing. Because this, while not the most natural smell, doesn't smell like a fragrance you can get for $30. The oud here definitely has this astringent medicinal quality to it. You have a nice smoked kind of raspberry meets patchouli, rosy type of smell to it. This is gorgeous. This is a lovely, lovely fragrance. This is 2 to 3 sprays for me because it's crazy strong. Yes, does smell quite similar to Ombre Nomade in my personal opinion. For those that disagree, which it hasn't been much, it's been 2 or 3 comments, but might have been people just talking trash. It's the internet. It happens, right? I think this is a great release from them. Of their LV clones that they put out with these similar bottles, this was hands down the best one of the 3 in my opinion, and definitely the one worth checking out if you want that smoky, rich, rosy oud smell with that, like I said, nice red berry sweetness to it. This is a good one. Really, really strong too. Strongest fragrance in this video, hands down. Again, that's Noir Darb Ombre. And last but not least, I think if this was ranked, it would have been number 2 behind Khair Pistachio, because now I do have a decant of the original, and the original's mind-blowingly good, and I think the only difference between this and the original is a quality difference, and even here it's not a big difference, it's marginal. We're talking about Rifaaqat in the Ambre range. This is their interpretation of YSL Baby Cat. It is incredible. This is not an overly feminine, super creamy vanilla, though it's a distinctive sweet vanilla smell, sharpness to some cedar wood, but the biggest thing here for me is the olibanum that gives this frankincense, smoky smell with this black pepper, pink pepper combo. That's the biggest thing here, is you get an aromatic, slightly sweet pepper smell. The black pepper is not overdone. I feel like you get more pink pepper out of this one. It is warm without being too warm and ambery, and a nice smoky, kind of sticky like resinous feel with some sweet vanilla. Like I said, the cedar wood here adds a little bit of a sharpness to it, kind of levels everything out, because you got smooth, you got bright, you got sweet, you got spicy, you got warm, you have sharp, you have smooth and creamy. You kind of have all across the spectrum on the olfactive profile without citruses and watery notes. Obviously, not everything is in here, but as far as what the profile is, it kind of harmoniously just goes from one thing to the next. No real massive transition where it's a drastically different fragrance from start to finish, but it's also not a linear fragrance where it's exactly the same from start to finish. This is one of their best releases ever, let alone this year. I think this is one of the few that gets that must-try stamp from me. If you're going to check out some offerings from Paris Corner, this one is must-try. This is too good to not give a shot. Especially if you've tried Baby Cat and don't want to spend $300+ on getting like a 75 ml, which I do want to get at some point. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't. Sooner than later. I want to get it, but this will definitely hold you off because it's extremely similar scent profile. I'm not going to say 1-to-1, but I'm going to say pretty much as close as it gets. And the quality, it's a marginal difference, a noticeable difference when you do a side-by-side, but nothing crazy where it's like, oh, this smells like a cheap $20 fragrance. But it definitely smells like the affordable alternative to it. So this is really, really good stuff. Like I said, this is one of the few I would give that must-try from the brand stamps of approval for sure. Again, that's Rifaaqat, their interpretation of YSL Baby Cat from Paris Corner. Well, that's my 5. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. What'd you try from Paris Corner this year? Did you try any of these 5? And do you agree with some of my assessments? Do you differ from some of my assessments? Keep it respectful. We can have a nice conversation down in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 5 and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.